Welcome, everybody. My name's Gary Inzana. I run Top Tier Recruiting and Consulting. Well, I don't really run it. I work for it. Everybody, Mr. Coulter Johnson. Today, we're going to talk about the pivot, the art of the pivot off these auto calls. Now, if you're an Allstate agency owner, right, depending on if you're transferring these over to someone in the office, or if you're State Farm or Farmers and you're handling it in office, or some of you are also transferring, Coulter has the talk paths. So you can be one of those 300 life app earners. So without further ado, Mr. Coulter Johnson.
Appreciate you, Gary. Thanks for having me, guys. This will be fun. I would like to kind of gauge the room a little bit, though. There's a chat. Go ahead, guys. Throw in what company you represent, because I want to tailor this as much as I can to you, so that you leave today with things that will help you actually sell more life insurance. So let me know in the chat what company do you represent? Can they do that, Gary?
They
can chat on this one, all right?
Chat is on. We're having an issue with chat here. Let's see here. Chat. Let's see here.
Maybe they don't have access to the chat. Maybe it's Q&A. Okay, there we go. Yeah, throw it in the Q&A, I guess, guys. Thank you, Brenda. So Brenda's with State Farm. I love that.
Thank you. Okay, there we go.
State Farm, Stella, love it. Okay, keep them coming in, guys. I want to see what we're working with. State Farm, look, three in a row. Love it. Good. State Farm. Okay, we got an Allstate. I love it. Okay. Well, good stuff, guys. Keep those coming in. But my hope today is, again, I want to get into the details a little bit with you guys. I'm going to share my story. We're going to get into some specifics that you can take into your agency that have helped me to write a lot of life insurance. Okay. Now, let me just share my screen. We'll just jump right in, guys. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, guys, take a look at this. This is Coulter's life insurance production as a team member. Okay, I was a team member for the last 6 years, and here's what it looked like. 2018, 2019, pretty poor life production. And to give you an idea, Coulter at this time, I had just finished door-to-door sales, and I did that for 2 years prior to becoming a team member. Now, I don't know if anybody in this call has done door-to-door sales, but it's tough. It was my first exposure to sales. I remember I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the summer. I didn't have a car. And what they would do, they'd like assign you a car group, right? You get to go in this car and they drop you off in your area and they give you like your iPad, your sales slicks, and they're like, well, we'll pick you up at 9 o'clock. They're dropping us off at like 1 p.m., guys, right? And so I remember, like, that's how I learned how to sell. My first week, I didn't sell hardly anything. That weekend, I finished and started to figure it out. But, I made good money doing that. I did really well my first year. My second year, I actually went and managed a team. And, we made good money. But the biggest things that I took away from doing the door-to-door stuff, guys, was I learned how to sell. I learned sales skills. I learned how to communicate with people, talk with them. I learned how to deal with rejection. Okay. So all of those skills Coulter had when I started insurance in 2018. I was hired on as a team member that would help with writing new business, the auto, fire, life, and health, helping out with service as well. But I was given this ownership of the life insurance. Like, look, with your sales experience, I feel like you can really help us here. I was like, all right, let's do this thing. And so I took it upon myself that I wanted to help our agency sell more life insurance. So I start having life insurance conversations right out of the gate in 2018. I was talking to everybody I could, guys. I was talking to people that would call in to make payments, people that I was quoting new business for. Like, I was bringing up life insurance with everyone, but you can see I was not selling policies. Okay. Some of you on this call might be there. You're like, Coulter, I'm talking about life insurance with people and I'm just not getting results that I want. My hope is that you can come to this with the frame of what can I take away today that will help me actually get better at my conversations. Now, some of you may just not even be having conversations or enough, right? We're all at different experience levels. Our agencies are at different levels. And so I personally feel your ability to look at this meeting and think, okay, what is it that can help me today? Because we're all going to take something a little bit different from this. But, again, 2018, 2019, I was talking to people. That wasn't the issue. which for a lot of you, it might be. The answer to life production might be talk to more of your customers about it. But for some of you, you're like, Coulter, come on, man. Like, I know I need to do that. That's not the case for me. I'm just getting stuck. I'm getting all these premature objections. It's not working for me. Okay. Hang in there. Okay. 2020, things changed for me. 123 life apps, right? Now, coming from door to door, that is more of what I expected for myself. Okay. I had the skills to do it. I had proof you can sell, you can move through objections. And so when 2020 hit, there's a few things that changed. Okay. The first thing that changed is I was involved in friendly competition. I was involved in this life insurance leaderboard for the year. And I told the agent that I was working for, I said, look, if we're going to do this friendly competition, my goal is to be number one in this group. And it was our full state of Utah. And I cared about that more than anybody else, right? We talk about our why, what's your drive? Like, this is all important to get your life insurance production next level. The next thing that I did is this, guys, write these down. Okay. I started to talk about what life insurance does, not what it is. Okay. Started to talk about what it does, not what it is. I want to talk about that just for a moment. We all know that benefits sell and that the features don't, right? Like, that's kind of a basic sales knowledge. People buy benefits, people buy how their life is going to change, not the features of things. Now, in 2018, 2019, here was what a pivot sounded like from Coulter. Again, I'm bringing it up to everybody. Gary calls in to make a payment. You better believe Gary's not leaving that phone call without Coulter bringing up life insurance. But I'd say, Gary, tell me about your life insurance and whatever happened. I'd get a lot of objections. But my pitch was this. I'd say, Gary, you're young, man. We can get you $100,000 of life insurance coverage. Where you're young, you're healthy. We can get you a pretty good rate. And also, it's a 20-year policy, and it would be about $30 a month. You also get this waiver of premium, this rider and that rider. But again, you're super young, right? We can get this for you. I'm just pitching it like that, right? And again, mind you, I knew benefits sell, not features. But what did I just do with Gary there? I just blasted him with features. Have I given Gary a reason to even see why he would, number one, want the life insurance, or number two, see why he might need it? No, I've just told him this is what we can do. And I'm using all this insurance language and assuming that Gary sees why he might need this, right? And I wasn't getting, I mean, every once in a while I get lucky and people are like, oh yeah, I've been needing to look at life insurance, and boom, right? We're off. But how many of our customers and prospects know the problem or the risk that they face by not having life insurance, number one, or not having enough coverage, number two? People don't know that they have that problem. It's our job to help them think differently and see the problem, okay? See how it would affect them positively if they got the coverage, or negatively if they didn't get the coverage, okay? So that was one of the big things. I started talking about what it does, not what it is. So for example, back in that scenario, Gary calls into Coulter's office to make a payment. Instead, here's what I would do. I'd say, hey, Gary, tell me about the coverage you have in place to replace your income if you were to pass away prematurely. Tell me about the coverage you have in place to pay off the mortgage if you were to pass away prematurely, pay off this car, right? To help your families pay the bills, right? So I start to talk about what it does, right? Hey, Gary, I'm going to quote you a coverage. You've got this loan on your car. I'm going to quote you a coverage that will pay off that loan in the event that you pass away prematurely. That way, this debt's not passed on to your family for them to deal with. That way, they're not in a position where they might be struggling to make that monthly payment. And that way,
I wasn't even thinking about that.
right?
I didn't even think about my car payment when I pass. Like, who thinks about that?
Exactly.
You're giving me, I didn't even know. Now you're giving me ideas I wasn't even thinking about. Now you got me listening.
Right. And that's the thing. And we're going to kind of talk about strategy and frameworks that you guys can take into your agencies to do those conversations. But you see the difference of, hey, Gary, I have a life insurance policy. It's 100,000 in coverage, 20-year policy. Like, Gary, I haven't given you a reason, right? You don't care. And quite honestly, when I say the words life insurance, where are you going in your mind?
I'm not that old. What are you, like, that's just, it's not going to happen to me. I'm going to live forever. What the hell? Thinking about death?
Interesting, right?
That's a hard think. I wasn't prepared for that thought.
Right? And it's so easy. It's like a morbid conversation, and it's a place people don't want to go in their minds. But my point is people have beliefs about life insurance that whether or not they're true, they have them. So in the chat, let me know what are some of the most common objections you're hearing from your customers around life insurance. I already know them all, but I want to hear what you guys are getting. I'm covered at work, Brenda. I got so sick of hearing that one. I have it through work. There's two. Okay. What other ones, guys? Are those, is that the only one we're getting? I've got it at work.
How about my wife? My wife has it.
Okay. Too expensive. I can't afford it. Okay. I'm not interested. I don't need it. You name it.
I don't need it.
Right. Now here's the thing. When you guys are giving me these objections that you're getting, I want you to think about when these are coming up. When are these coming up in your conversations? For me, early on in 2018, 2019, guys, I'm gonna go back to this. 2018, 2019 here, when I was writing 10 live apps a year with this high amount of activity. Guess where I was getting all these objections you guys just gave me? Right when I would pivot to life insurance. And I'd say, hey, Gary, tell me about your life insurance. And Gary, without me even finishing, I got it through work culture. I'm good. I don't need it. I got no family to take care of. It's too expensive, Coulter. I was getting these premature objections the moment they heard life insurance. And I realized something that day. I was like, at that point in time, going into my third year, I was like, my goodness, if I want to actually get better and sell more, I've got to make some adjustments. And I was able to diagnose that every time my customers would hear life insurance, I saw a trend. When I would pitch them and say, hey, tell me about your life insurance, or what are you doing about your life insurance? Life insurance, life insurance, life insurance, life insurance. I was setting myself up for these objections. And the issue is I knew how to move through objections because I did the door-to-door, like I had that skill. But what I found is when Gary heard life insurance, he gives me one of these objections. He's got his wall up. No matter what Coulter's saying in his mind, I've got it through work. The box is checked in his mind. He's good. He doesn't need it, right? No matter how good I am or how sexy, whatever I'm saying, the Harry, right? Like how good it sounds, doesn't matter if they're not engaged with you, if they're not listening. And that's what I found is when that life insurance, that was like a buzzword for people that completely stopped my conversation. I realized that and I was like, okay, what if I just left that life insurance out? What if I just started to talk about what it does, not what it is? So instead of tell me about your life insurance, it was tell me about the coverage you have in place to replace your income if you were to pass away prematurely, right? Now that belief's not there, now we can move further into the conversation, right? Because pivoting, guys, pivoting's one thing, but just pivoting's not going to sell you policies. You got to get to a presentation. You've got to get to a point with Gary where you help educate him and give him a reason to want this, see why he needs it, and build that gap of what he's missing in his financial life right now. Okay. So start talking about what it does, not what it is. Second thing is this. I started to keep the life insurance complementary to the auto and the home. Because here's this. Let me ask you guys in the chat. Let me know whether you're with Allstate, with your State Farm, when your customers think of you in your offices, right? What policies do they know you for? There we go. Auto and home. Okay. They know you for auto and home. Do they know you for life insurance? Sometimes. And guys, if you've actually brought up life insurance with your customers, you're going to know that there are times when people are like, oh my gosh, Gary, I didn't even know you guys did that. Okay. So I saw this trend that they didn't even know we did life insurance. They don't know us for that. They know us for the auto and the home. And so I took a step and I put myself in Gary's shoes. Gary's Coulter's customer. Every time he calls into Coulter's office, guess what Gary has on his mind? Auto and home, right? He's thinking auto and home. Coulter helps with the auto and the home. He's not thinking life insurance. So I found it very easy for Gary to just simply decline the life insurance when I would a lot of times bring it up out of nowhere. Okay. Now, by no means am I saying bringing up life insurance out of nowhere is not good. It is good. Okay. Bringing it up versus not is always better 100% of the time. But what I'm saying is I'm going to teach you some strategies here that will help you prevent objections from happening in the first place, move through a lot of those early obstacles, and get to a place where you can educate, where you can do your thing, where you can sell. Okay. You guys follow me so far? Beautiful. Okay. So in selling life insurance, like we're going to break it down to the bones. we need to know where to go to write life insurance. We need to know what to do, and we need to know how to do it. Okay. Where to go. Anytime you can talk with someone, right? You can get somebody on the phone, somebody in front of you, you can bring up life insurance. Okay. Now, a lot of us, the beautiful thing about the opportunities that we're in is we get to do the auto in the home. We got people that are calling into our offices, coming in every single day to take care of their auto and home. And guess what? It's required, right? People need that. And so where to go? Well, there's really three places we can go to write life insurance. Okay. First place is we can talk to our current customers about it through pivoting from our everyday service transactions. So in the chat, what are some of the reasons that people call into our offices? What do they do on a day-to-day basis? What do they do? Why are they calling in? Why are they coming to our office? Bills, make payments. Hey, what else? Add cars. Stella, you're going to love what I'm about to teach you here in a minute. Make changes, complain. Steven, you're not wrong. People want to complain right now. I think every insurance company and their dog is experiencing these phone calls. Hang in there. Okay.
That's true.
Now, Steven, I want to challenge that a little bit because it's tough, right? It is so hard, guys. Like I'm not saying it's hard, but we're not going to be negative. Okay. We can either one, be upset that we're getting an increased call volume and that all people want to do is complain to me, which guys is easy to do. I've been there, right? Or two, we can be grateful for the increased call volume. It all starts in your mindset, right? Now, whether you pivot right then and there on the phone, maybe Gary calls into Coulter's office and he's just pissed off because his rates went up. Until I take care of Gary, how effective is that pivot going to be? Gary, are you going to listen to me about life insurance?
That's not what I'm here for. I have a problem that you need to listen to.
Right? So timing with our pivoting is important, right? What if I pivot to Gary, but I haven't even taken care of him? I'm just checking off boxes. It's not going to do anything for me. And it's actually probably going to damage my relationship with Gary. He's going to be pissed off. He's probably going to go shop. He's like, what the heck is wrong with this Coulter guy? All he wants to do is sell me. I can smell his commission breath, right? It's going to damage that relationship. But on the flip side, what if, there we go, Gary. What if I took care of Gary? Like I over delivered for Gary on this bill thing. Like I went above and beyond for him. And I make sure he's taken care of. And I get off that phone. But then I say, you know what? I'm putting a calendar notification for Monday. I'm calling Gary back and I'm going to do a follow-up call to make sure he's satisfied. Make sure he's really taken care of. Gary, if I take care of you, right? If I take care of you and then on Monday I call you back and I just confirm that you're taken care of, how are you? Like, what are you thinking? How are you feeling towards me?
Walter, my man, my problem solver. You validated my primary demand. What's going on, my friend?
Right? And I make sure he's taken care of, but now guess what? I am set up to talk to him about life insurance. Okay, so timing matters with our pivots, but all of these things, payments, everything, every interaction that you can have with the customer is an opportunity to write life insurance. Okay, we can pivot. We all know we need to pivot. We all know we need to bring it up, but I want to challenge you and help you really think about the timing for your customer. Maybe Gary calls into Coulter's office to make a payment, but he's rushed. I can sense he just wants to get off the phone. How effective is that pivot going to be? Not great. If he's pissed off, it's not going to be great. But I recognize the opportunity. Guess what? What if the timing's not right for you as the team member either? We're getting all these rate increase calls. We got pissed off customers. What if you just had a customer that just honestly got a little nasty with you, and however thick of skin you want to say you have, it kind of still affected you? You're like, man, your confidence is kind of dropping a little bit that day. Or maybe you've brought up life insurance 3 times and you've heard nothing but no. But you know what? Like, we're going to control what we control, but at the end of the day, guys, it still can affect us, right? Maybe your confidence drops a little bit more from that. What if the timing's not right for you? What if you don't feel like you can confidently pitch or bring up life insurance with Gary? Okay. But we recognize these opportunities. Timing is important. Here's what I ran into as a team member. I remember feeling a sense of guilt when I didn't bring up life insurance. I didn't pivot to these other products on that phone call. Even though like I saw an opportunity to do it, I just didn't. I'd hang up that phone call and I'd just sit there like, man, I've got these thoughts in my mind like, Coulter, what's going on, bro? Like you just missed another one. And I let that sit. And guess what? Now how I'm starting to feel, man, maybe this isn't for me. Man, I'm not good enough. Man, people don't want the life insurance. They want the auto and the home. All this negative self-talk now, I've let it sit. Now it's going in. Now I'm not feeling great anymore, right? But here's the deal, guys. Just because you don't bring up life insurance with Gary right then and there on that phone call, does it mean that that opportunity is lost forever? No. There was one day I realized that and I was like, Coulter, what are you doing, bro? Like you can call him back. You've got this thing over here that you can just dial a few numbers and you can get back on the phone with him. And so that's when things changed for me. Timing is important. Okay. So if you feel like, if you recognize an opportunity with Gary, he calls in to make a payment to pivot, bring up life insurance, but you don't feel like the timing's right for him or for Coulter or for you, right? The team member, do what I call pre-sell a callback. Do something like this. Say, hey, Gary, my man, we appreciate the heck out of you. I want to get you off the phone, get you back to your day. You've been a customer of ours for about 5 years. We probably don't say this enough, but thank you. Thank you for your business. Love having you. And you know what, Gary? I don't know when the last time someone looked through your account, like seriously looked through it to identify any sort of gaps in your coverage or any potential discounts you might be missing out on. If I see anything, Gary, some point today, I'm going to go look through that. If I see anything, are you okay if I shoot you a call back?
Sure, why not?
Bingo, right? Now I've just proactively said, hey, Gary, this is what I'm going to do. If I do call you back, this is why. Discounts, gaps, holes, or concerns in your program. So now I've kind of created curiosity. Now when I call him back, he's going to actually answer. And maybe I can get him at a better time when he's actually engaged with me. He's not rushed. Okay. So timing is important. So where to go? All of these opportunities are opportunities to pivot. We're going to talk about pivots here in a minute. Where else can we go? The second place is we can actually work our current book, proactively call our customers, lists, right? There's certain lists that we can be running in our books. And then the third place that we can go is we can write it with new business. Okay. So service transactions, work our current book, and write it with new business. That is where we can go. It's important to identify those because what I want each of you to do is kind of be like, okay, how am I doing with service transaction pivots? Am I pivoting? How am I doing with lists? Have we ran lists? Maybe you just need to run some lists. And then are we talking about it on new business? Now you can now focus on what you and your agency need, where you can go to create opportunities. Okay. So that's where to go. Let's go now talk about what to do. What do we do? We're going to talk about what to do, and we're going to get into a little bit of how to do it. Now, as a team member, I always remember being taught what to do. Hey, Coulter, if they have a mortgage on a home, you can talk to them about life insurance to pay that mortgage off. It works. And I would get really excited, just like a lot of you probably do. But then I would get out there on the phones and people are in front of me and I would try to do it. What do you think I struggled with? What do you think I wanted to know? How do I do it? I want to know what to say. How do I get into the conversation and prevent objections? I want to know what you guys are saying. I want to know, how do I build value in a presentation so that it's not just a price thing? I want to know how I can create curiosity and help Gary think differently. I want to know how I can make it really easy for Gary to say yes and really hard for him to tell me no. I want to know how to do those things. And I want to know how I can close more policies. I want to know what to say and exactly how to do it. Okay. So here is the framework to think through in your sales conversations. We're going to simplify this, guys. There's 3 parts: pivot, presentation, and close. If you are trying to sell a product or a service to someone, make sure to just like have this in your checklist. Like it allows you to know where to go next, but it allows you to work smarter and make sure that you're being compelling. Okay, so your pivot. A pivot is any time we're changing directions of the conversation. So Gary makes a payment. How am I going from payment to life insurance? That's your pivot. Now for your pivots, we want these to be smooth. We want it to be a logical transition. I also want to create curiosity and keep Gary engaged with me to hook. The purpose of my pivot is to set myself up for a presentation. Okay. Which is the next step, presentation. Guys, just pivoting is not going to sell you policies. We got to do presentations. Presentations are what sell. Okay. The format you can think through as a presentation is risk, solution, benefits. Gary's got to know the problem he faces. He's got to know that I can help him with the solution. He's got to know why that solution would matter for him, right? I like to think of the presentation like this is a selling. You can tell a story here, okay? And then the close, this is just simply the offer. But so many of us want to give the price before we've actually done the presentation. If you want it to be a price conversation, and this applies to all lines, by the way, not just life insurance. If you want it to be a price conversation, just talk about price. If you want it to be a value conversation, go through your presentation before you even talk about price. Now, if Gary's like, what's this going to cost? And I haven't gotten to the presentation, I'll say, Gary, I'm not 100% sure. I have a pretty good idea, but I need to go through this with you first. Boom, we're on, move on, right? Okay, so here are some things that you can do in your agencies to write life insurance, okay? We talk about keeping it complementary, right? To the home and the auto for what they know us for. One way to do that is pay off loans. Pay off mortgages with life insurance. Because Gary insures his cars with Coulter. He's got a loan on one of them. When I talk to him about coverage for the car, it makes sense in his mind, right? Works really well. For example, I'm gonna throw this example about keeping it complementary to the auto and home. Gary, let's just say that you had the best week of your career this week. It's Friday, and you're like, you got a fun weekend planned up. Like, I'm gonna treat myself before I go home. 5 o'clock rolls around, okay? Gary, you're like, you've been thinking about this like all week. You want to get yourself some Taco Bell, okay? Not saying you like Taco Bell, okay? But for this example, you're a fan, okay?
Sure.
So you've been thinking about this Crunchwrap Supreme all week, and you had a great weekend. So you're like, I'm gonna treat myself before I go home and have a great weekend. So you get in your car or your truck and you drive to Taco Bell. You pull up and you order your Crunchwrap Supreme. Just for a moment, Gary, just for a moment, imagine for a minute. You order that Crunchwrap Supreme, and the Taco Bell worker says, hey, Gary, would you like to add a side of steamed broccoli with that Crunchwrap Supreme? Gary, what are you thinking?
Is it fried?
Okay. Is it fried?
Broccoli? I mean, no. What about that mist? That Sierra mist? You know, that whatever that Baja Blast is, which was amazing.
Yeah.
No, I don't want any broccoli. Thank you.
Okay. How easy is that for you to just tell them no?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, no, I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't want it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Well, what if instead they offered you a soft taco for $1?
Make it two.
Sign me up, right? I'm treating myself today.